Hello, and welcome to the book chat. I once again misplaced my soft coaster, so you don't have to listen to me put down the mug every single time. There we go. Hello. I am actually surprised that anybody is here, given that it is a holiday. So thank you so much for spending this day with me. Whether you celebrate it or have to celebrate it or don't celebrate it at all, I still appreciate it. And hopefully if you're having to celebrate it but you really don't wanna, maybe this could help you out today. You know what I mean? I've had many a Thanksgiving that I didn't want to be at. Actually, I don't think I've ever wanted to be at a Thanksgiving, come to think of it. So we're talking about volume 9 today, specifically what we read last time. Listen. Actually, cross out that listen. A different listen. Listen. A few minutes ago, Kitten thanked me for validating her trauma in that she was a Captive Prince fan that then got co-opted into Erha thanks to these streams, and she's the more fictionally devastated for it. And I'm right there with you. I pinned the comment for a reason, actually, because that's literally and actually me, and has been for the past year and a half. So we've got to stick out for each other. It's the rereaders that we have to, it's us against them. They have done this to us. Oh no, Henry, first of all, hi. No, Henry says, I think Brittany is underestimating how many of us are gay and European. 1, excellent musical theater reference. I understood that. And 2, actually, no, I'm deeply aware that like 70% of anyone who follows me anywhere, I believe, is non-American, which actually probably explains why my ads don't really make anything. Because why would YouTube value anyone outside of them? Anyway, so yes, Kitten, I see you and I love you and I'm experiencing the exact same thing. But then also, last time, previously on Erha, Shi Mei isn't as big of a dick as he could have been. I did not realize that pun until just now. So I'm going to retroactively call that intentional. He was like, now listen, I'm okay with devoting our entire lives trying to engineer it so that I get to be with Chuaning, or one of us gets to be with Chuaning, whatever. But I draw the line at like massive amounts of death. Once you get into like genocidal territory, that's when I tap out. So, it just goes to show really that you can have a small dick without having small dick energy. That's perfectly possible. And Shi Mei's he's really doing something in that respect. So he's kind of an ally, sorta, who could very much come in handy later if he wants to hand any information over to those of us who would like to know what the fuck a certain Hua Binan's endgame is. That would be nice. And then as I was thinking about if Chuaning even gets to Mo Run, which who knows, but if he does get to Mo Run in time to do something, what is he gonna do? He's massively powerful, so I guess he could just make anyone who opposes him his bitch there for a second while he gets Mo Run out of there. But then Chuaning would be persona non grata. Then he would be pursued. And Mo Run really wouldn't want that to happen. In fact, he specifically kept himself from confessing to certain things in order to keep Chuaning's reputation intact. So if Chuaning ultimately makes it and gets Mo Run out of there, thereby tanking his reputation anyway? I don't know. That seems pretty meat bun to me. now that I say that out loud. Or Chu Wanning arrives too late and then has to steal Mo Run's dead body and venture into the underworld. And on one hand, I don't think we're going to go back to the underworld. But on the other hand, she could do some fucked up parallel type of thing with some kind of underworld journey. You just never know with her until she does something, and then you realize how inevitable it was. She's infuriating. Don't like her very much. Oh, Henry. If we get a thank you or just hold me situation, I'm exploding. Same. I'm also wondering if now is the moment where this scene that is about to take place in which Chu Wanning arrives, be he too late or otherwise, but actually I guess he would have to be in time. If what's about to happen there, is it so significant that certain flowers could be finally eradicated and therefore Mo Run remembers everything? All in that moment? Or are we saving that moment for later? It depends on how much she wants to dogpile on a single moment. Because she has definitely dogpiled in the past, as we are all deeply aware. But she also hasn't sometimes. Sometimes events just need to unfold without having to have umpteen bajillion things happening at the same time. But that usually means that we lack context. And at some point down the line, she'll give us the full down low. I don't know. Trying to fathom her habits while I'm still in the middle of reading something about her, very tricky. Oh, Henry, I stand corrected. Yes, I said dog pile. I meant husky pile. Absolutely true. Thank you so much for keeping an eye out. Also, Henry, yeah, classic meat bun answer. Whatever hurts the most in the short and long term. The and there is key. Liv says, but listen, Chu Wanning trying to keep him alive. Pay attention to me. She could play that card. As in, like, trying to keep him conscious. That'd be cruel. Henry, not gonna lie, it's been a long week. I'm excited to be hurt by meat bun. Why do I feel like it's whenever you're excited to read meat bun that she unleashes her most devastating stuff? Is that just me? Liv says we're all masochists here. No, yeah. Due to one of the discussions going on in the patron the patron Discord, I'm deeply aware that we're all just masochist bottoms here. We know. Henry, if Mei Shui comes back, listen, is he still in the Gaywatch break room because I am irrationally trying to summon him into this mess? Yes. Do I think he's actually going to show up? No. Unfortunately. Peach, who mentioned the basket metaphor, can you remind me? In fact, maybe the reminder's right there. When she said, it's like having a basket with holes full and never succeeding, being his life. What was the exact metaphor? Henry, I'm gonna need you to elaborate. You said my first ever queer friend group made fun of me for being a bottom. Look where we are now. Did you have a queer friend group in which you were the only bottom? Because that would be, to my understanding, rare. And also, technically, probably how a lot of fan fiction starts out. Henry, I know that reference, Henry. Look at where we are. Look at where we started. I know what you're doing. Musical theater nerd. Oh, Peach, when he was trying to find one moment in his life where he could start over with no worries and still be with Chuaning. Thanks for reminding me about that, Peach. I asked for that one, didn't I? Yeah, realizing there's no place he could go back to if he were to get reborn again. Uh-huh. I think if I was forced to go back to my childhood, like prepubescent, and choose a time, that'd be difficult. That'd be really difficult. Maybe, no. I'm identifying a little too much with Mo Run right now. Not 5th grade. Not 6th grade. And really, any time before that? No. No. I'm going to go ahead and say no. Liv, Chuaning crying on the back of a dragon is a mood. Deeply. Somehow. That is deeply relatable of him. I too just break down into tears in super high stress situations, especially, you know, when they have something to do with my wife's well-being. Oh, that's true. Blue, who said, I think it'd be fine if I was allowed to keep my current memories and thoughts, but maybe 2nd grade for me. That's true. Being reborn with knowledge. I hadn't considered that. I mean, obviously, Mo Run still had his memories, but I just defaulted to not having that. That changes things. In that case, I would probably go back to 15? Yeah, probably. Selfie, who said nothing he experienced made him cry, only the thought of being too late. Now that one I didn't ask for. Thanks for that. Listen, you know, speaking of masochism, part of me, obviously, desperately wants Chuaning to get there in time. Because of course. Of course. However, am I curious to see what Chuaning would do and how he would react if he was too late? Sure, I'm curious. I kind of don't want an answer to that question because it would be supremely painful, but I would love an answer to that question because it would be supremely fucking painful. But I must admit, I would like to know how she would write that moment. And even as I'm saying this, part of me is like, you don't want to fucking know. Stop speaking shit into existence. But such is being a fan of Meat Bun. Liv, it would also be hot, not gonna lie. Well, yes. Call everybody out. Oh, Liv, I'm convinced if the flower was put into Chuaning, it would just make him hate himself more. I didn't sign up for that one either, Liv. You're not wrong. I just didn't sign up for it. Oh, wait, I had a thought about Huabinan having the flower planted in him. What was it? It was like yesterday, so I didn't have it written down as one of my things to talk about. It was about how it was a wild theory to begin with, but I don't think it's the case because if we're really dialing into the other side of the coin mirror thing between Huabinan and Moran, then Huabinan will not have a flower and it will just all be him. It will all actually come down on his shoulders. So that's probably how that's going to go. But see, this is the problem with Meat Bun. But there was also a line where Huabinan very specifically had like a limitless or endless either jealousy or rage or both. I'm kind of leaning rage. That was very Taishanjin. So it's hard to tell if he was just being the Danmei of it all and the genre hyperbole, or if that's supposed to be some kind of cue that that's a flower situation. But again, Moran had a great mom. Shi Mei had an awful one. Back and forth all day long. Moran had a flower planted in him, in which case, you know, he was compelled. Huabinan's just a piece of shit. Probably as a result of horrific trauma from his mother, but Huabinan's a piece of shit. In fact, that kind of feels like one of the main points that she could be going for, really. Meat Bun. About how, yeah, we're all just products of trauma. I wouldn't put it past her. Oh, hey, Zareem. Selfie said, are we sure Huabinan's mother was bad? Maybe we don't have enough context yet. I would be hard-pressed to come up with a context in which forbidding your son to cry ever would be not awful, unless it was like, you can't cry ever because if you do, your dad will lose it or something. But I think the strongest indication that Huabinan's mom is going to be absolutely fucking heinous is because of the whole mirror thing. Meat Bun, at this point, having done that with so many other aspects of Moran and Huabinan, could also just be baiting us. And you're right, and there is a greater context going on in which it's not so heinous. It's more just maybe middle of the road gray. But she knows what we would assume with that. And so she's playing us. Henry says, I'm so excited to find out his backstory. I already have ideas. No, I'm so curious to find out why Hua Binan is the way he is. That is one of the big moments that I'm looking forward to. Just like, you know, finding out what it's actually going to be like when Moran and Chuaning can finally, like, fully bang without being controlled, and with each knowing who the other, like, fully is and was and did and didn't do, and, like, all of that. Yeah. I'm also deeply looking forward to Hua Binan backstory. And she started to allude to it, and there's, at this point, only so much time left in the series. It's got to come sometime. Blue, not gonna lie, I didn't remember much about Shi Mei, but last stream turned me into a Shi Mei stan, not Hua Binan. No, I wasn't surprised, because we kind of got a little bit of an indication when we first saw them talking together in volume 8, I think towards the end of volume 8. That kind of gave you that vibe that Shi Mei was at least a little more, for lack of a better word, sane than Hua Binan. So now that we've actually totally gone there, I'm the most curious about what role he has to play in everything now, and whether or not he's gonna die. Argon, you said his backstory is my favorite. It fits so perfectly. Are you talking about Hua Binan specifically? Or now that we've gotten the full context on Shi Mei? Selfie said, well, he thinks he's in the right, so maybe Hua Binan wants to burn the cultivation world down because he thinks there are no good cultivators. Which, given his impossibly high bar for purity and perfection, that's kind of usually how it goes. And since Mo Run was compelled by Hua Binan the first time, that would kind of make sense to me. If that's always been his Hua Binan's thing. That is usually how it goes with perfectionists, to put it mildly. Nobody lives up except for whoever his brain magically deems worthy. So therefore, everyone can just fucking die. Ooh, Zareem, Shi Mei being physically blinded because he's kept his eyes closed to the consequences of his actions so far. There you go. That's true. It could have been, like, giving him any big wound like that would have already spoken metaphorical volumes, you know, about him and his situation. But having it specifically be his eyes, I think you've hit on it. Because, like, it's true. He could have cut his tongue out. He could have chopped his hands off. He could have done something. There were various ways that Shi Mei could have wounded himself, and she chose eyes. And I think you've hit the nail on the head as to why. I'm sorry. Go back. Oh, Henry said this is why I think Wabinon and Shi Mei should fuck nasty in response to something Liv said about how she doesn't think Shi Mei could have a relationship with Ronwan, though because it's gone too far past the point of no return. Therefore, Shi Mei and Huabinan, there's at least fan fiction about that, right? You can't put, clones or the same person from different timelines. You can't put those people in the same room in your fictional world without some subset of fans taking advantage. There's no way. Peach said there is fanfic, and it's so good. Zareem, there's a lot of Shi Mei and Huabinan shippers, so I suppose there is. Interesting. I wonder, like, I can already guess as to at least partially why, but I wonder if there's anything coming in the rest of the series that, like, really speaks to why it would be a significant ship in this fandom. Oh, meanwhile, Liv outing herself as a bottom once again by saying, okay, but Tae Jun and Mo Run literally battling for dominance. I'm right there with you, but you said it first. Henry, Mo Run would kill his clone, Huabinan would fuck his. Would Mo Run kill Tae Jun though? I mean, as of now, what he currently understands about Tae Jun, and it's not like Chuaning has had an opportunity to explain to him what the fuck is currently going on with Tae Jun. Like, now, with no more information, yes, he would. But if he had the information, I don't think so. I'm so sorry. Peach, back up a second. Okay, so do you know about the Ranwan Oreo? No. Oh, thank you. Peach immediately followed up with that. Moran. Oh, the Oreo equals Moran Chuaning Taeshanjin. Yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, who hasn't had the thought, especially now that Taeshanjin has eased up a little, who hasn't had the thought, really? And to be honest, I wouldn't put it past Meat Bun, actually, to actually do that. Although it wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be their first time between Moran and Chuaning. So I don't necessarily know if she would have time for it. But I feel like she supports the idea at the bare minimum. Oh, Blue, I'll just stay here in my Demi corner and sit this one out. Hey, the wife is Demi. I didn't know we had a demisexual in the chat. Hey. Love that for you. Blue, you have so many demis here. Really? Do I really? That would be amazing. Not that I want anyone to out themselves who's not comfy, but yeah, if you're Demi, wave your hand, I suppose. It's so rare. You understand? So many pans. Well, the pansexuals, you know, and the bis, that Venn diagram's pretty large. No, people waving their little Demi hand. Oh, damn. I did not know this. That's fucking fantastic. Blue. Apparently you attract Demis like Chuaning attracts Huskies. No, listen. Listen, I have to oh man. All right. So this is a fact. This is a real fact that I've just had to grapple with and accept. All right. And I'm going to have to mention something from the series that you dare not speak its name, the series that shall not be named. But it's important to just understanding. So the wife is a Gryffindor and a Scorpio. And somehow, some fucking how, one of my best friends I've ever had, my friend from college, also a Gryffindor Scorpio. In addition to that, my mother is a Gryffindor Scorpio. So maybe I just collect Scorpios. I'd love to get the numbers on that too. The Scorpios and the Demis. So it would not surprise me if that were the case. Oh my god. Both Henry and Liv are like, we've made a joke that you collect us. No! I proudly collect you, thank you. Oh, Peach, you're a Gemini. Me too. Oh no, Zareem. You sound like me dating 3 Leos and never again. No! Oh man. That's hilarious. And obviously relatable. Lynette, you have a Scorpio rising? I don't think I know. I don't think I've ever met anyone who was a Scorpio rising. A friend of mine has a Scorpio in midheaven. I'm also currently going down the biggest astrology rabbit hole that I've ever gone down. So if you really want to distract me, talk about astrology. I am that. I neither fully believe it or fully disbelieve it. I'm the weird third thing in which I don't know if it works. It probably doesn't. All I know is that it's deeply, horrifically accurate for me and the other people who I know in my life who I've dug into. So just in case, that's my PSA about astrology. But it's also deeply fascinating. Like as a writer, it helps you with all kinds of stuff as it relates to writing. So I've always had that kind of casual interest. But I'm currently in the middle of a really massive deep dive. Aquarius. I actually haven't. Oh my god, another Aquarius. Huh. I don't think I've actually known that many Aquarius people in real life. Off the top of my head, I don't think so. I think one of the wife's friends is an Aquarius, but I can't remember which one. Well, the thing about Henry says, I've been told Aquarius means you're quirky, but that's probably the autism. Well, the thing about, not to fully get into astrology, but the thing about astrology is that anyone who has poked astrology even a little bit, this might be just me, gets immediately just done and pissed off and so deeply over like sun horoscope stuff. Really kind of anything that talks about sun sign first, because it's just so, no, it's not even the tip of the iceberg. It's like hovering above the tip of the iceberg. Argon says, I was a Capricorn, but I think I'm technically something else now. It keeps shifting around. How is that possible? Are you unsure about your time of birth? I'm very curious about this now. Also, everyone's been sharing their info and I've just been reading it like a curious bitch, and I haven't shared mine. Gemini Sun, Sagittarius Moon, Capricorn Midheaven, Aries Rising, actually. I do apparently collect the autistics. Yeah. That is also apparently a thing. Evidently, the people who I draw into my life have single aspects of the wife. The demisexuals, the autistic people, the Gryffindor, the Scorpios, like they all have that probably says something about me. Now, I did know that you guys were all autistic. I have known about that one. But there is also something to be said about the ADHD and autistic person relationship. That's a really common pair up. So me and the wife make all the sense in the world. I love how we fully devolved into completely unrelated things, but who the fuck cares? It's a holiday. Who cares? But yeah, I did know that there are a lot of autistic people here. Yeah, see, Blue. Apparently, most of my ADHD friends are autistic. Ha! No, Liv. Yeah, Liv said something up there about sharing the same moon as me. I'm presuming because you said you were all fire. So like Sagittarius moon. Yeah, it does make sense. Actually, it really does. I'm also generally I'm like majorly fire dominant in my chart. Um, which probably makes sense to you guys. But just in speaking that as someone else Liv who has a lot of fire, that would be me as well. So I'm not surprised we have something a sign in common. Oh, I need to hop over there in just a minute. Selfie, what's rising and what's like sun sign, etc. It'd be really easy to get me to share the links to sites in which you can find like good birth charts and like nice beginner basic info and stuff. It'd be very, very easy to convince me to like toss that into the Discord or something like that. Now the poll that I opened the reading stream with has to be astrology related. Do we know Morun's and Chuaning's sign? Do we have any idea? Because Wei Wuxian is Scorpio. Because he was born like on Halloween. Mo-Run is a Taurus. That would kind of track at first glance. Peach says Chuaning is in August. I'd have to know which part of August. Ooh, Henry says Gaywatch Discord sleepover activity birth charts. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Oh my god. Okay, so it's like 2:58. I have to go over to the reading stream. I'll think up something astrology related to have as the poll over there. But I'm going to go ahead and hop on over. Thank you so much for the book chat, as always. And I love that it just kind of so happened to devolve into my current hyperfixation. That's fantastic. And I'll see you guys over there so that, I don't know, maybe Chuaning could save the love of his life 2 lifetimes. That would be great. And maybe a wild Mei Han Shui will appear. We'll have to find out. I'll be over there in just a second.